You've been lied to for decades. Go to school, get a job, save money, retire happy. Sounds good, right? Wrong. That formula is dead. The 1% play a completely different game, and it's a game you were never invited to. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to do it, why school never taught you these rules, and how you can flip the script before inflation, taxes, and time run you over. Let's go. Let me hit you with something right now. Wealth isn't about your salary, your car, or how many commas are in your bank balance. Wealth is time, wealth is freedom, period. Here's the real metric. How long could you keep living your life? If you stopped working today, well, that's your wealth clock. If your assets cover your lifestyle forever, congratulations, you're financially free. But the 99%, they measure wealth by income. I make $200,000 a year. I'm killing it. No, you're one layoff away from panic. Meanwhile, someone making $60K with strong passive income streams could actually be richer in freedom than you are. Robert Kiyosaki explained that inside every single one of us lives 3 identities. The poor self, fear, scarcity, always thinking, what if I run out? The middle class self loves security, steady paycheck, safe 401k. The rich self sees opportunity, takes calculated risks, builds systems. Which version of you is steering your decisions currently today? That's your trajectory. Here's the thing. Wealth has evolved over time. It's gone from land ownership to factories to today's economy of information, attention, and intellectual property. Today, attention is currency, especially if you can monetize it. If you don't adapt, you're playing last century's game. And trust me, you're going to want to stick around because in Chapter 5, we'll break down exactly how the 1% keep that wealth clock ticking forever. Let's be real. School trains you to be an employee. Point blank, period. Memorize this, follow instructions, get good grades, get the job. Right? That's fine if all you want is stability, but stability is fragile. Financial literacy, whole different skill set. It's knowing assets versus liabilities. We'll cover that more in Chapter 5. How taxes actually drain your income. How to leverage debt instead of fearing it. How to read a balance sheet so you're not flying blind. Here's the wild part. None of this is taught in school. Moore's Law says information doubles every 18 months. That means by the time you graduate, half of what you know about money could already be obsolete. That's why people still think saving beats investing, when inflation is actually eating your cash alive. It's kind of like being paid in ice cubes and coming back 10 minutes later, only to see what you have is suddenly less. Kiyosaki learned more by working for free under his mentor than he did in any classroom. Why? Because in real life, when you screw up, you feel it. You get resourceful, you learn faster. School typically punishes mistakes. Business actually rewards you for learning from them. I'll give you an example. Traditional wisdom in school says, avoid debt at all costs. Yet in Chapter 5, I'm going to show you why the rich use certain types of debt and how it makes them richer while most people get poorer. Here's the truth. Your external economy, job market, interest rates, inflation, is going to change with time. Your internal economy, how you think and act, decides whether you thrive or collapse. The poor see downturns as disaster. The 1%, opportunity. The big killers of financial success are actually emotional. Fear, what if I lose money? Skepticism, that'll never work. Laziness, too much work to learn that skill. Bad habits, I'll save whatever's left over. Spoiler, there's never anything left. Here's where the 1% are different. They expect losses. They don't freak out. They learn, adjust, move on. They pay themselves first. They build assets while everyone else is upgrading their lifestyle for the gram. Entrepreneurs live by different rules than employees. They understand calculated risk. Without a paycheck safety net, you're forced to get creative. Hungry people hustle. That hunger, it's fuel. And this is key. Risk isn't the problem, ignorance is. A safe job can disappear overnight, but a risky investment you understand, that could potentially pay you for life. In Chapter 4, we're going to get specific about why relying on one paycheck, no matter how big, is the biggest risk of all. talk about the golden handcuffs. Ah, yes, W-2 income. You've got the paycheck, the benefits, maybe even a company car if you're lucky. Feels safe and cozy, doesn't it? Until it's gone. Here's the tax reality that the 99% don't see. W-2 income is taxed at the highest rates. You're essentially trading your time for money, paying Uncle Sam first and living off what's left. Even high earners end up with far less than they think. Yes, we're talking about your quote-unquote six-figure earners we see in social media comments. On paper, everything looks good. The wealthy? Flip that. They build multiple streams of income. Business profits, real estate cash flow, royalties, investments. These streams make money while they sleep, travel, or chase new ideas and ventures. They're no longer trading their most valuable asset for an hourly wage. Paycheck? Short-term comfort, long-term cap. It's a ceiling on all your hidden potential. Assets, though, they can scale indefinitely. But here's the trap. Even a lot of small business owners tend to think they've escaped the W-2 grind. Nope. If you are the business, you've essentially just built yourself another job. And self-employed folks, they get hammered with the highest taxes of all. True entrepreneurs build systems that run without them. And here's a pro move the 1% make. They separate their profession from their business entirely. The doctor sees patients for income, but builds wealth through his real estate portfolio. That's the shift from working for money to having money work for you. In a minute, here in Chapter 5, we'll unpack exactly what the rich are buying with these streams. It's not fancy cars, but how they use debt to scale and how they pay legally less in taxes than most middle-class families. Stick around, and if you've learned anything thus far, hit that subscribe button. All right, now where were we? Here's the simplest and most powerful wealth principle. Assets put money in your pocket. Liabilities take it out. Most people get this wrong. They buy the big nice house or flashy car, call it an asset, live paycheck to paycheck, and then wonder why they're still broke. The 1% focus on stacking assets, rental properties, profitable businesses, dividend-paying investments before they buy luxuries. Then, they let the assets pay for those luxuries. Debt, for most, it's a trap. For the wealthy, it's leverage. They borrow at low interest to buy assets that return more than the loan costs. Refinance at 2.5%, that frees up cash flow every month. That extra goes into more assets. Now, taxes are where the gap really explodes. W-2 earners get taxed before they even see their money. Corporations, they earn, spend, and get taxed on what's left, often at lower rates. The 1% play inside this system, not against it. They use legal structures, depreciation, and write-offs to keep more of what they earn. Real estate, for example, can give you paper losses that offset real income, dropping your tax bill while your assets appreciate. And here's the kicker. When governments print money, inflation punishes savers and wage earners. But if you own assets and smart debt, you could come out ahead, as your assets will appreciate with inflation while your money loses purchasing power during inflation. And this is the loop back to Chapter 1. If your assets pay your lifestyle indefinitely, your wealth clock never runs out. That's how the 1% get ahead, and you can too. If you learned anything from this video, hit that like and subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the bell so you don't miss our next video, and I'll see you in the next one. Signing off for now.